About a week ago, on the 31st of March 2024, a day that's known as Easter in the western part of the world, pretty much everywhere is closed. But some bank robbers go inside this warehouse that has a whole lot of cash inside it. It seems like it's a normal building, but it's actually a facility where they keep most of the business cash of the Southern California businesses. And Los Angeles has a whole lot of people living there, and of course there's gonna be a whole lot of cash just chilling in there. Basically all the businesses pile their cash into the one area, and this is one of those. Nobody really knows who were the robbers, but they very easily entered this warehouse and take $30 million in cash. Maybe they couldn't take more because that much cash weighs a lot. If we're talking about all $100 bills, that much cash will weigh about 300 kilograms, and that's insane. But this isn't a bank vault where there's only $100 bills and new cash. This is businesses, so there's going to be a whole lot of different notes. And what they took probably weighed more than 1 ton, and that's pretty damn impressive. Just like we said, this robbery took place on Easter Sunday. So nobody really knew a robbery went down like this until the next day on Monday.
Los Angeles history. Thieves walking away with up to $30 million in a story that sounds like a Hollywood.
When the people in charge realized that $30 million in cash is gone, they didn't even call the LAPD because they know they couldn't do anything. They straight up called the FBI because they knew this case is meant for them. After they went over the case, this is the first thing the FBI announced, that this was a type of inside job, and whoever performed the robbery knew people inside of this facility, or maybe an employee did this robbery, because it was executed way too perfectly, and it couldn't have been done by someone that didn't know how this facility works. The funniest part is that they went through this top secret facility where there's cameras everywhere, but no cameras picked them up, so they knew exactly how to avoid them and go through the blind spots while they're robbing the whole place. And the most important part, no alarms went off. They entered and exited the building in a way where there is no footage of them. After the investigation went on, they realized that these guys entered from the roof. They very calmly took all the cash they needed while avoiding the cameras because they knew exactly where everything is. Then they take themselves to the end of a hall that they knew was a blind spot and literally cut the brick walls and exit that way without being seen. This wasn't the first time in the city of Los Angeles that a warehouse like this was hit. Back in the year 1997, something similar went down, but this time they took $19 million in cash. But they very soon got arrested after doing the robbery, and the authority fined all the cash. That time they realized that one of the people that was performing the robbery worked in the inside, so it was somewhat of an inside job. And that's why they assume this job that happened a few weeks ago is the same type of deal. Stealing $30 million is insane, but it's still not the highest because that goes to Brazil. The biggest robbery in cash happened in the year 2005 in the city of Fortaleza in Brazil. This time they took $71,600,000 from a central bank. The robbers executed their job perfectly here. They did so much research and planning that everything went smoothly on the day they planned. And the coolest part about this robbery is that it was done with a tunnel. These guys rented an office building that was about 78 meters away from the central bank, and they wanted to build a tunnel from this office all the way to the underground vault. So they would have to build a 78-meter tunnel all the way there. Building a tunnel at the depth of 4 meters and going 78 meters horizontal is very difficult, and the more you move forward, the more rocks and dirt you have to take back with you. But these guys knew exactly what they're doing because the business they rented the office out for was a landscaping business. So these guys had all types of dirt, dump trucks, wheelbarrows. They even sold grass, which is the funny part. So they were a fully legit quote-unquote company that does landscaping, and nobody was sketched out by these guys. After 3 months of digging, the tunnel eventually gets to the vault. But it's not time to go inside the vault yet. The tunnel they made was 70 centimeters in height. It had lights and it even had ventilation where you can breathe down there. They know exactly which day is the perfect day to go inside, where nobody is inside the bank. And that's August 6th. They knew on this day nobody's in the office on Saturday and Sunday the next day, so they have 2 full days to execute the robbery. When August 6th came around, very easily they cut 1.5 meters of reinforced concrete and entered the vault to perform the robbery. These guys collected all the cash and they brought wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow to their office. After all the money was taken, it added all the way up to 164 million Brazilian real, and that's $71,600,000. And all that cash weighed up to 3.5 tons. The Brazilians did their job correct, because no alarm went off and nobody knew this was going on for 2 straight days. And that's why nobody knew this went down until Monday morning. After they realized where the office for these guys were, they asked the neighbors what type of guys were they. All the neighbors said they were 10 people that worked inside this office and they were very legit. But eventually, what happened to the thieves? For the next 2 years until 2007, the Brazilian police arrested 54 men aligned with this robbery. They confiscated 20 million Brazilian reals. But the men that were arrested that were connected to the robbery, they weren't even behind the robbery. They were just men that had the cash with them because probably the robbers bought something from them. And that's why they had the money. It wasn't actually the mastermind behind this robbery. 19 years has passed after this robbery, and nobody has realized who was actually behind it all. And it's interesting because even though this is known as the biggest cash heist in history, nobody has made a Hollywood movie about them. But if you search up the biggest cash heist in history, only one answer shows up. It was done by the 2 sons of Saddam Hussein, where they stole $1 billion in cash from the Central Bank of Baghdad. But who took that $1 billion at the end? The US Army. But this is way too political. But the Brazilian robbery is more of a robbery rather than politics. So that's why the Brazilian robbery is known as the biggest cash heist in history. Going back to the Los Angeles robbery, nobody has been caught yet. But the authorities believe that these guys will be caught soon. But we're not sure if all that money will be returned. What do you guys think?